record. We are live. Hello, love.
Hey, it's been a while since we've been live on the personal pages.
Yes, we are broadcasting to a different, new, and kind of overlapping audience. Hello, friends. Welcome. Come on in. We are broadcasting this live conversation. For those of you that are new and are not part of our private Facebook group, go and join that right now. We decided to bring this to a wider audience today to really bring to, well, here we go. We want to talk boundaries. We want to talk about boundaries with your spouse, boundaries with your partner, boundaries with your future partner, in hopes that you potentially will join us this coming Monday, April 3rd. We are having a masterclass. Paige and I will be hosting a live time on Zoom. So you got to register. We're going to talk about boundaries. We're going to take a 15-minute, 20-minute slot of time between 7 and 8:30 p.m. Central here in the States. And we're going to talk about boundaries, and then we're going to answer questions live and even provide some hot seat coaching. So if you have questions about relationship boundaries in your relationship, in your romantic relationship, we'll even talk certainly about relationships at work, relationships with family, relationships with friends. But we wanted to jump on here and have a conversation. And by the way, I'll say this too. All of these conversations are recorded. Well, all of them, unless I forget to hit record. But they're all recorded and then uploaded to our YouTube channel. So if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, go and subscribe to that. Look up Daring Deeply. Search Daring Deeply on YouTube. So if you're joining us live, hello, welcome. Welcome. I'm David Lee. That's Paige Stewart. At least she's over there on my screen. Right. And we are co-founders and leaders and coaches within our coaching practice known as Daring Deeply. So come on in. We're gonna have a conversation about boundaries in relationships. So good introduction. Did I cover it?
Yeah, I
All
feel
right.
excited. So we do the monthly master classes every single month, once a month, usually the first Monday of every single month. And they are open seat coaching. So they are hot seat coaching. They are complimentary evenings where you get to spend time with us and we'll provide perspective and insight to whatever questions that you might have. And this one is extra special because we're going to be bringing forth, as David mentioned, some teachings on boundaries, which are, as we see, some of the most complex elements of relationships, and they consistently serve as a very hot topic for the clients in our community and the people that are in our Daring Deeply sphere. So it feels like an important conversation to be had on Monday. And if you're interested, join us.
Yeah, absolutely. So I always like to begin this way. And I think if I am asked to talk and speak and reflect and unpack about boundaries more than anything else, and what I've often said is, I consider myself a master in boundaries, an expert in boundaries. First started learning about relationship boundaries 25 years ago, and I'm still trying to learn. And it is a pivotal, it's a foundational concept in our coaching through a trauma-informed polarity lens. It's imperative we know who we are and why we are and what we believe so we can hold strong and hold our boundaries and know when to say yes and when to say no. And I often begin it this way. Let's put a definition around this idea of relationship boundaries, which is simply this. It is an external expression of an internal affirmation of what's important to you. Okay, did you hear that? Okay, write that down. It is an external expression, which means it has to be externally expressed to someone and to yourself. Okay, it doesn't become a boundary until it's expressed, because oftentimes, right, we hold in what we really feel, right, out of fear, out of a trauma response, actually, because once upon a time we wanted to express who we are and what we believe and what our opinions are important, and then it was shut down. Right? It was told that it's wrong or it was violated. So, and there's a ton of layers of boundaries. There's spiritual boundaries and physical boundaries and emotional boundaries and psychological boundaries and financial boundaries, right, within our relationships. And it's super important to know that a boundary doesn't become a boundary until it's externally expressed. And so if our spouse, if our partner doesn't know what's important and valuable to us, then how in the world are they going to be able to honor a boundary that we have in place? So I want to honor some folks who are jumping on here. Hello, Jen. Hello, Kelly. Hello, David. Good to see you all here. Thanks for joining in. And where are you joining us from? Let us know. let us know. We love to know where you are on this big, beautiful planet of ours. So drop it in the comments, let us know. And if you have questions about boundaries live, perhaps we can get to those here in this time that we have. And if not, then join us on April 3rd, which is this coming Monday, and we'll be able to address your questions potentially live. We're excited about that. So we
Yeah,
got all kinds of people jumping in here. Go ahead, babe.
terrific. One thing that I wanted to follow up on is that our partner cannot read our mind. They cannot read our mind. So if we are not communicating what is most important to us, and this will change and fluctuate as you continue to know yourself deeper, and as you continue to grow and evolve, you have to be able to communicate that to your partner so that they know, so that the two of you can work together to honor each other in that way.
Yeah,
But they are not going to be
absolutely.
able to read your mind,
Yeah.
and you won't be able to read theirs.
Yeah. Newsflash. That was a mic drop right there. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, your spouse, your partner cannot read your mind. So stop. Right. And we all know what assume means. Okay. Make an ass out of you and me. Okay. So we must, and I get asked this all the time. How do I begin to establish and maintain boundaries? You have to know who you are. You have to know what you believe. You have to know what you want to honor about you, about your body, about your spirituality, about your emotional capacity. And the way that you get to that, guess what I'm going to say? You've got to begin to heal your inner wounds from your past, i.e. trauma. Okay. So, hello, Kelly. Yes, Kelly is, yeah, gorgeous opening day, she says, in St. Louis. Yes, it is opening day in Major League Baseball, which, by the way, newsflash, you may not know this about David and Paige, but we are seam heads. That's a phrase, slang for loving baseball. So if you love baseball and you're on here live, let us know if you have a team. Okay. Or if you're even going to opening day. A buddy of mine is going to opening day right now. I was just talking to him earlier today. So where was I? Oh yeah. That's what I love. It's like, oh, squirrel. Or in this case, baseball. Yeah. We must know, and the only way that we're going to know who we are and what we stand for is to be able to heal the blockages that are keeping us from realizing the person that we are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's, yeah, go ahead, Paige.
I heard a powerful visual explained to me relatively recently that essentially the entire process of coming home to you and your body and rediscovering who you are, so that you can fully just feel expressed in the truest authentic form throughout this life, is the whole process of that is healing the perspective that you have of you. And so the story that was shared was standing in front of a mirror, and all these individuals around you from your life are throwing rocks at this mirror. And as they throw these rocks, the mirror is shattering and breaking and cracking a little bit more. And with you standing in front of this mirror, the reflection back that you see of yourself is beginning to get more and more distorted. And whose fault is that? Not yours. It's not yours. It's the perspective that is a result of these stones, these rocks being thrown at the mirror you're in front of. And so being able to come home to yourself and see yourself as whole and perfect and beautiful and right, just as you are, by stepping next to a brand new mirror, stepping in front of a brand new mirror where there's no cracks and no stones, and being able to restore that perspective that you have of yourself. Wow, that is what healing is all about.
Beautiful. I love that. I had not heard that. I had not heard that, babe. That's wonderful. I can, and I want to add to that because it was wonderful story, wonderful analogy. Is that an analogy? Metaphor? I can never get those right. What's important about that is that they're the stones that have been thrown by people who are hurt as well.
Yeah.
And they're throwing stones out of their own pain.
Yes.
Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Okay. Hurt people hurt people. So the stones that are being thrown at that mirror are coming from pain. And they're throwing those stones out of their own self-protection. And we can go down that rabbit hole really quick, right? And that's how we work with our clients, is understanding, right, that wounding comes from wounding. Go ahead, babe. You were going to say something. I could see it.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right. And you're right. We could spend a lot of time, many hours, days.
We do all the time. Yeah, exactly.
Going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, exactly.
But essentially, they have a distorted perspective of themselves too. They are also standing in front of a unbelievably cracked mirror. And so they only know how to spread that. They want other people to have cracked mirrors of themselves too. So they feel like they belong. So they feel like they have more people that they can connect with.
Yeah.
And so the work is to break that pattern,
Mhm.
is to
Yeah.
break that pattern and to feel and see the truth that just because that mirror is cracked doesn't mean that we are cracked.
Mm. I got to pause for that moment there. That was beautiful. Right. I often say this. I said this to a brand new client the other day. I said, you're not broken, you're not effed up, and you're not a hot mess. Okay. We often say, oh, I'm broken and I need to be fixed. Ladies and gentlemen, you do not need to be fixed. You have wounding that needs healing, and
Mm-hmm.
we all do. I have wounding. Paige has wounding. Everyone on the planet has both masculine and feminine energetic wounding. And that is the ground force, right? That is where we come from, certainly as coaches and speakers and consultants and healers in our coaching practice, is we come from a perspective that everyone is wounded. And so if everyone is wounded on the planet, we're all in this journey together. And if we're all navigating this space together, it brings us closer together, as opposed to, right, oh my gosh, I got to stay away from people who throw rocks, which
Yeah.
we all throw rocks, right? And we all have the wounding and we all have the shattered mirrors.
I loved what you said about you don't need to be fixed. You don't need to be fixed. You need to be felt. And you don't need to be healed. You need to be held.
Okay. I'm going to
Yeah.
put that comment. Okay. Oh, yeah. That was a mic drop moment, friends. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to take the time live, but I'm going to write that in the comments. It was brilliant. Which, by the way, if you were looking for a copywriter, and she's going to kill me after we get off live, Paige is an exceptional world-class writer. I'm just saying that, right? She's already written one book and another book is coming. Yeah, I just put her on the spot. I'm like, yeah, well, we just know it, right? And by the way, when we put shit out there, right, it convicts us to move forward. So I also want to say this specifically about boundaries in relationships, since this is try to steer us back on topic, if that's such a thing. It is absolutely imperative that you in your relationship or your future relationship is that you have an interdependent mentality. You know that who you are, this is all boundaries. You know who you are and what you stand for and what you hope and dream and strive to become outside of a relationship, even when you're inside of a relationship. This is the cornerstone of boundaries. It is also important that you take care of you first. I often say this. I say this probably once a day, and I shared this with Paige yesterday with my one-on-one clients, is I choose Paige because she doesn't choose me first. I choose Paige every single day. I choose you, babe, because you choose yourself first. That is a healing boundary. If I've ever seen one, that is where we are attempting to go in our relationships. That is the goal. That's the nirvanic space in which we want to land, is to know that we are absolutely positively contained in our healing masculine and feminine energy, and that we don't need anyone. We want the people that we choose, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Hello, Katie. I'm just saying some other people. Hello, Tammy. Hello, Katie. Thanks. Or Carla. Carla, it's Carla. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for joining the conversation. Go ahead, baby.
Yeah, it's powerful. So a lot of the healing, there's a lot of healing work involved with boundaries, having boundaries, setting boundaries, because very often we become enmeshed with our partner. Enmeshed, this is where everything gets blended. We become them, they become us. No one knows who they are, and everyone is just kind of feeling the same. And no one's needs are getting met. No one is experiencing joy and the way that the way that they want to experience that. And so it often comes with breaking codependent patterns. So this is where we begin to become enmeshed because we are seeking love, approval, belonging, acceptance from that type of relationship, when really boundaries bring us closer together than any sort of enmeshment or codependency ever could.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I love what you said there, babe. Boundaries bring intimacy, right? Oftentimes people will see a boundary as like separation. Actually, boundaries
Right.
bring, yeah, boundaries, that's a wall, right? That's a whole teaching, which by the way, if you're interested to know more depth on boundaries, join us on Monday night, this coming Monday night, April 3rd. Drop a comment in the comments and let us know if you want the registration link. We're going to hold a mini masterclass within the capacity or within the container of our normal hot seat coaching this coming Monday, April 3rd. It's imperative to know, it's so important to know that boundaries bring you close. Healing your masculine and feminine wounds bring you closer to your partner, not further away. Okay. Now, here's the caveat to that, and I can see the things are spinning right now in Paige. Oftentimes, when someone is healing within the context of a relationship, the other person may or may not be on the same pathway. Okay. And that may absolutely cause some division. We see it all the time, where one person is on a healing path, the other person is choosing not to go on a healing path, and you will see some division, and relationships may come to a completion. That's part, though, this is where it comes back to your interdependence. Your boundaries are paramount, and they are not to be violated for the sake of codependency and enmeshment, as Paige was talking about.
Yeah. My boundaries help me ensure that I'm staying me. Like
So good.
they are my support system. They are helping me remain interdependent. They're helping me stay myself because I have a history. I've patterns in the past of very much so just becoming like everyone else around me.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
So,
So you've identified in your healing journey, babe, where you have spent a large part of your life being a chameleon, right? Is simply allowing yourself to be like everyone else around you, to be accepted, to be understood, heard, and known, right? And that has eroded your identity as Paige Stewart,
yes.
right? And you have been healing that. And by the way, I just want to say this publicly, live here. I am so freaking proud of you for all the healing that you have done. It's amazing to watch every day, day in and day out. And I'm inspired by that, which is ultimately the fabric and the groundwork of our relationship, is that we are both committed to our own healing journey, and then we choose to co-create together as we're on our individual pathway. So thank you, babe.
Oh,
Congratulations.
thank you for those words, and I
You're
received
welcome,
them.
baby.
That reminds me of our definition of a relationship. I mean, that is what a relationship is to be about. It is the most powerful healing vessel that you can ever navigate. Being on your own healing journey and doing it with someone else who is also on their healing journey as well. And the two of you are supportive of each other and encouraging each other to keep going. That's really what
Absolutely.
a relationship, that's what the space is supposed to be.
I love what you said that. And ultimately, you're holding space for one another's trauma healing, ladies and gentlemen. That's the definition of a relationship. Okay. It's not till death do us part. It's not have great kids. It's not have amazing sex. It's not have a picket fence and a 401k. Okay. It is to be in a healing space where you're healing yourself internally and therefore can support your spouse and partner in their own healing journey. Okay.
Yeah, because when you heal, that's when you're going to receive all those wants, those things that you actually want to experience in life. That comes secondary.
Absolutely.
That's not the drive.
No, it's not. It's not. Which, of course, goes back to the context of boundaries. You've got to know who you are, and the way that you know who you are to hold those boundaries is to begin your trauma healing.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're just chasing all that stuff. It just becomes like an outsourced way for you to feel validated and for you to
Exactly.
feel like you are good enough and have enough and are making it in this world.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. And we often, we're provocateurs. I will certainly claim that, right? I want to be provocative, not for the sake of being provocative, but I want to crash into normal cultural narratives that say that life is about chasing money. Life is about chasing the things that at the end of the day and the end of life, we look back and go, what was I doing? Right? But ultimately, a healing, powerful, loving, grounding self journey of healing is the point. And that's what we want to bring to the world. And by the way, it begins on a personal note. It begins with myself and Paige's individual healing journey, and then coming together as a couple every single day. We can't bring this work to our clients. We can't bring this work to the world if we're not doing it inside the four walls of our home, which we talk about a lot, right? Is that we are living and breathing this. We are a couple together who are choosing to be together, doing this work for the world, right? And we're not doing this to look really fantastic to the world. We're doing this because it's important to us. And it can only come from us, the work that we're doing individually. And so much of that is grounding ourselves in our boundaries. What do you think, babe? Think we're done?
It's fantastic. So good. Thank you.
I agree. I think we're done with this live conversation. Thank you, everyone, for being on here live. I see you, Brian. It's good to see you, brother. Hope you're doing well. They're in the loo, calling you out. Old fraternity brother of mine just jumped on. So he's like, oh, man, now I'm in trouble. Now my boss is going to know I'm on Facebook. Love you, brother. Good to see you. So one last plug. This coming Monday, April 3rd from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Central here in the United States, we're going to be bringing a mini little masterclass of about 15 minutes where Paige and I are going to teach some specific content, flesh out a little bit more on boundaries with couples and in all of your relationships. And then we are going to invite all of you that are live with us on that call to ask questions and potentially have some hot seat live coaching from both David and Paige on that call. So register for that event. If you want the link, drop it in the chat and we will send you that link so you can register for Monday night's event. I think that's all we got.
I'm excited. They're always an
I'm thrilled.
fun. Yeah, we have a
so fun.
Great group that always shows up, and I'm looking forward to it. It's one of my favorite events of the month.
Absolutely. Thank you, babe. Thanks for being you. Thanks for showing up here, and thanks for the banter. Absolutely, baby. All right. Take care, friends. Thanks for joining us live. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.